journalists. We were live here, so we didn't get a chance to cover it, and I'll talk about that. But last week, President Trump had went over there to the NABJ, and it seemed like he was in good spirits. He's stepping up to the plate. And what we have to look at, people, is most Republicans don't take the chance of going to sit down with black people or the black community because of what we've encountered, right? Because of what happened at this conference. So President Trump, he took the invitation and he showed up, and the young lady that was interviewing him, she was in his grill, and she said, well, let's get right to it, President Trump. You've called women this, you said that, you said this, and you said that. Why would the black community want to deal with you? And so you seen him ruffling his feathers a little bit. He was like, you know how the mafia bosses do. He was like, let me get my act together. Well, that was very rude. You didn't even say hello. You didn't even say nothing else. I'm coming here to say what I want to do as president, and then you had this rude introduction. So this interview is going to be twisted from the beginning. So he just went in and chose war. Okay, he chose war. And so girlfriend was like, well, I'm just asking the question. Then she got down to the DEI. He said, define DEI, please. He said, she said, diversity, equity, inclusion. He said, yeah, define that. Go ahead. She said, oh, I just defined it. And so she couldn't go any deeper than that. But I'm sure what he was looking for is, what is the meaning of DEI and why are people using it? We need it. Because, like I said in a few shows ago, if there was no DEI, no affirmative action, we can't hold anybody's feet to the fire. Now, come up with something else, right? But how are we going to be able to jockey for position in jobs where, this is the reality? You say it's the best qualified. So are the white people the best qualified? Because according to you, it would be the white people are the best qualified for the job. That's why they're sitting there. And anybody black that's sitting there is a DEI hire. I understand what they're trying to say with Vice President Harris being a DEI hire. But I think it's a little harsh because she earned her way to that. Now, she didn't get pushed up into this position, oh, you DEI, you DEI, you DEI, we need you here, you DEI. She didn't get pushed up like that. But when Biden had to make the decision of who his running mate is going to be, just like she just had to make the decision, right? Remember, she just had to make a decision on who the running mate is going to bring me over the top. So it was definitely not another black person, right? And it was definitely not a woman. So she had to go straight white. Everybody on the TV was saying, well, it's going to be a white man. It's going to be a white man. It had to be a white man. That's what they were telling her. So now, when Biden ran and chose her as the VP, she now has to kind of take that because, okay, you did pick me because I could bring you more of the black vote. So now enter President Obama into this race, right? And they're trying to kick up, the same get out the vote spirit that Obama had. But see, girlfriend is a little different. Girlfriend got some bones in the closet. Right? And so she's trying not to talk about it right now so she can keep the momentum and make everybody diss Trump in the process. So what I think that they're doing, they're taking this honeymoon phase that they've got going on right now and saying, look, let's not say anything. Let's just bash Trump, hit him as hard as we can because we know what they're coming for. And so this kind of buys the campaign time, right, in order what comes up next, right? So they have to kind of figure out these next 3 months what it's going to look like, what kind of money is going to be flowing, how they're going to use it. Are they going to use it as tax, or they're going to use it to make her look good? A lot of money But what they have is they have black folks who don't want any of the money, don't want any of the conversation, don't want anything but what people are telling us to do. That sounds a little slavish to me, massa. Okay, that's what that sounds like to me. Everybody just jumping up all over. Oh, we're with her. I'm with her. With her for what? With her with who? What, you know what I'm saying? Before you even knew who the vice presidential ticket was, y'all was with her. Okay, we got that. So it's a honeymoon phase. What's gonna happen when the bones come out the closet? First one, now they're referring to her as the first African American. She should be referred to as the first Jamaican American woman and Asian American woman. Now they're putting the Asian American on there, so they could pull them out. And now kind of agree with it. So Donald Trump was right, because he goes to the conference last week and he says, she says, well, you think that she was a DEI hire? He's loaded with it. He couldn't wait. He said, his hands was going like this. He says, well, I've known her for a few years. And he was referring to the fact that he had actually given $6,000 to her campaign back in the day. He said, I've known her for a few years, but I never knew that but I always knew that she was, I always knew her as an Asian American woman. And then all of a sudden, she started to say that she was a black woman, and somehow she just turned black. And so he said all of this with a straight face, like, I can't believe it, right? So this is up in arms. How could you suggest that she's not black? You said that Obama didn't have no birth certificate. He's going in on everybody, right? And so now he's saying that Kamala's not black. She's not black American as we know it or as we describe it. Now, some of my peoples, I tell everybody to start tapping in. So some of my peoples, Conrad from LA, I think by way of Georgia, where you at? But Conrad tapped in and said, black is not an ethnicity. And it's not. It really isn't. It's something that we have learned in America to call ourselves, right? And so does anybody get to call yourself a black American? Because when we refer to the black Americans, we refer to the Americans that were here in America during the slave time, pushing through. That was who it went from, because it went from the N-word to a black person, right? I don't want to say the N-word. Muhammad Noor will hurt me in the next room, but that's good. So where are we at, people? Most people thought that this vice presidential pick was going to be Josh Shapiro out of Pennsylvania. So let's do the knowledge. Shout out to BJ Hill out in Vegas and the whole pawn industry out there. Shout out to my peoples out there. And they tapped in and they said, look, you're giving us meat and potatoes on how this process works. So let me go into this a little bit, okay? So Josh Shapiro is the governor of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, a very strong battleground state, meaning a swing state. So when you hear the battleground and the swing states, so again, let's say that most states, the state that you live in, like Nevada, okay, BJ in the pawn shop, Nevada, you guys are in a battleground state. You're in a swing state. We're not sure of how you're going to vote. That means you might vote Democrat, you might vote Republican. How you spend your money is going to determine that, right? So Pennsylvania is a strong battleground state, carries a lot of electoral votes. She has to carry Pennsylvania to win. So now it's a numbers game, right? So every state that you can win. So now they're going after states, right? Can I win the state of New York? New York, Donald Trump says New York is in play. Can I win the state of New York? Okay, maybe. So I'm going to put some money aside for me to go out in New York, for people to push out in New York. I think we can get the numbers to get New York as a state. Okay. Now, let's look at New Jersey, strong Democratic state, right? So we're going to leave New Jersey alone. We know we're going to go already count those points for Vice President Harris and Tim Walz, okay? Because it's a heavy Democrat. So they're going to go for it. Then we go to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, big swing state, meaning sometimes in some elections, depending on which way the wind blows, it's going to be Republican or Democrat. And they've done it for years and years, right? So we're not sure where they're going to go. But this guy, Josh Shapiro, the governor, he's favorable 61%. So what I think happened in her choice was, I think that she was looking and saying, okay, where can I get the best bang for my buck? And who can I sit with for 4 years, right? And then continue to move, and it's not going to try to undercut me, because now her 4 years can give her 8. President Trump's 4 years can only give him 4 more. So now they're able to expand this whole process of saying, we could give you 8 years of this. But people, we got to worry about what that 8 years looks like. Because if we get 8 more years of inflation, if we get 8 more years of this gas going, see, I like Trump because he's going to get in the middle of this and he's going to fight for what counts to the American people. You sending money to Ukraine and all these other people, I need to take care of home first. And when I get my mind right, I can wrap myself around Ukraine. So listen, we're going to take a break. And when we come right back, we're going to pick up where we left off. And we're going to brainstorm this. This is a new American perspective. I need you. My people are tapping in. I'm tapping back. This is the new American perspective on Millennium News 24. We are here 24/7, and we are looking to hear from you. We're on Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, all the smart TVs, Sky Network, Horizon Networks. We are around the world. Let's go. Millennium News 24. I'll see you in a minute. And we're back. How'd you like that new intro going? How'd you like it? That is the new American perspective. Shout out to Phantom of the Beat and Gina Tarantino for getting on this track. This is the new American perspective. I'm happy that you're with us today. Like I said, we're back and we're talking about Vice President Harris and, her game plan. Because she's going straight to the basket with this. Now, I'm not going to lie. She looks strong, and people are feeling some type of way. They're feeling the momentum behind everything that she's talking about. Okay, but she's not talking about anything. Let's remember again, okay? All we seen was Megan Thee Stallion, who locked up Tory Lanez. We seen Quavo. Then she announced her vice presidential candidate. Money is flowing in. Everything good. Nails done, hair done. Everything good. You're looking good, MC Harris. But now she's going to have to face the music. And the question is, can she face the music? Now, the reason why we're saying can she face the music is because she had a whole lot of in-between stuff going on, okay? She voted certain ways. She locked a lot of people up. She was a tough one. So everybody doesn't appreciate that. You understand what I'm saying? So everybody is not with the whole, you do whatever to me and I'm down with it. Okay, so we have to go over that stuff. So this is not going to, like I said, it looks good. She got the Obama team. She's going in. So before we left for the break, we were talking about whether or not what happens next, right? So we got these states. So Pennsylvania, we were talking about Josh Shapiro bringing in Pennsylvania. Now, he did a concession speech, right? And I was like, oh, I'm down for you, Pennsylvania. I can't go nowhere because I'm down for you. Now, there is a law. I haven't got it yet. But there is a law that says something about a sitting governor. So I think before they get nominated, they got to do a whole bunch of stuff because Tim Walz, I think, is going to be limited because he's a sitting governor and there's some laws on it. I'll make sure next week we get that back. So, like I said, so now we're looking at these states. So Pennsylvania, a big state. So she passed on Josh. Now they're saying that Josh might have overpowered her as far as personality and charisma because Josh is the Obama talking Jewish man. Check him out. You'll laugh when you see him in person for yourself. He is the Obama talking Jewish man, and he sounds just like Obama. He's charismatic. So he's going to step in at some point. You kind of look at him and say, are you half and half? Are you half black, half Jewish? You kind of say that. But he seems like he's a fun governor and everything like that. So I think they thought that he may overshadow MC Harris. And she said, nah, I'm going to go with Tim Walz. Now, look, when we talk about the squad, one of the members of the squad, Cori Bush, she got knocked out. So that's 2 members of the squad, right? Jamal Bowman, that's from here in the Bronx, right? But Bowman knocked himself out when he pulled the fire alarm during a vote in the House, and he flashed back to high school. I used to work at one of his high schools, so I just imagine he flashed back to the high school and said, well, this is how you stop everything. I'm going to go ahead and pull that fire alarm. That was too silly for me. That let me know that he wasn't serious or Congress is not serious, because what was he thinking? I would have gave him a day in jail for that, because that was so childish and weird that we really didn't need that. And so at Cori Bush, she got knocked out as well. So now it's very interesting that Vice President Harris picks Tim Walz, again, out of Minnesota. Here's something interesting. We were looking up what his role was in Israel, China, and Ukraine. How did he support it? And the interesting part about it is he taught English in China in the 1980s. He went on his honeymoon in China, right? And he supports Ukraine. So, they're wondering about his Israel stance. It's more far left. They're saying that he's pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian. Now, listen, I'm pro-people. Okay? I do not agree with the slaughtering of any people on either side of the spectrum, okay? I believe that we've got to figure it out. You shouldn't be talking about from the water to the sea. Everybody's got to be free. I think I got that wrong, but horrible thoughts, you know what I'm saying, of completely wiping people out. Whose land is it? There's so much to unpack there. You hear me don't talk about it a lot because I'm not well educated in that lane. And when I talk to people about it, it's kind of taboo. Either you're one side or the other. You think this people should be dead or this people should be dead. I think we need to pray to God and ask God for some answers. That's what I think I'm going to go ahead and say. So, like I said, Vice President Harris has taken no questions, and it's been one-sided, excited rallies and stuff. And what she's doing is she's using the blind faith of the black community to get it going. Now, again, we fall for this trick every single time, people. Can I take a sip? This is a little strong there, Nora, but I'm going to go with it. This must be some, I don't know. So, every time we fall for it. And when are we going to stand our ground and say, my relationship is not with a particular political piece? See, we need attention in our community. And I hate to go off on a tangent and talk about the black community, but this is what I know, people, okay? We need attention. And all somebody got to do is give us some attention and say, oh, I'm your local politician and I love you. Mayor Adams had a great concert. He's doing the Rise Up concerts in New York City, and he had a great concert on Sunday night. It rained out, and then they had it on Sunday night, and he had a great concert, and everybody was out there, you know, and this is his way to stand in the community. Now, I have not heard about the next 4 years with Mayor Adams. I haven't said, well, in 4 more years, I haven't heard that. I have heard the opposite, that there may be no 4 more years, but I don't know what I'm talking about, okay? So, again, so now we're with the states. Okay, so Harris is knocking down her numbers on the states. So she's saying, okay, I can bring in Ohio. I may be a Georgia, big battleground state, right? So she got Stacey Abrams over there. She got all the people. They're going to need all hands on deck. Really, this is going to come down to a few 100,000 votes, people. So you people, I'm calling you people in these battleground states, must pay attention, must get registered now. We need your vote. America needs your vote, okay? Because the states that are going to determine what and who is going to be our next president. So thank God I'm in New York and we're waking up and we think that we can go ahead and get New York popping. Because once we get New York popping, right, and we even get on the borderline of maybe New York going red, hopefully we'll motivate the rest of y'all. Because the reason this looks exciting, people. It looks really exciting. However, excitement is not what we need, okay? We need firm policy, and my community needs to put ourselves in a new position. That's why I'm rocking with Trump 2024, because my community needs to change its whole trajectory of how we're looking at the world, and we need to start again. We need to flush this out. And answer me this. Is there any Republican communities amongst America? Okay, well, I'm gonna, yeah. Well, let me say this again. Are there any Republican communities amongst America that look like our communities, right? And I said, yeah, because you do have Staten Island. Now, Staten Island Congresswoman Nicole Malatakas, she takes good care of her constituents over there. And it's Republican for the most part. But then in the little black area, it's Democrat, right? It's Democratic run. City Council Kamala Hanks is over there. Okay, so now I'm not saying anything about it, Staten Island. Now, Staten Island is a high-end borough of New York City, but still we have these Democratic-run areas that we expect less. People, what I'm asking you in this race, do not accept less. Do not accept less. We have to push for more. We are worth so much more. But we need somebody to tell us that, right? We love for the white folks to come tell us, oh, you're so good. We love for the people in power to tell us, oh, you so good. Well, we can't go with that because the people that know that use that against us. So we cannot afford to just allow anybody to come up and anybody to say, you're so good, we'd love to do something for you. We need that money in the hand. What Jay-Z said, F you pay me. So that's what we need to be thinking about during this election, okay? So we're so excited for people to get on our streams. President Trump on Monday got on Aiden Ross, streamer, big time streamer, Aiden Ross's podcast, and he was on there. He's talking about Young Thug and the case. Now, what they did say, President Trump, you cannot get twisted up like this. What they did say is, how you know about Young Thug case, but you don't know about Sonia Massey and the immunity? No, Trump, we can't do that. We got to be sharp on that. We got to see that ahead of time, because Young Thug and what they're essentially saying is that Young Thug's life in jail and all the stuff that he did, you want to comment on that and say, oh, well, you know, it's unfair. But Sonia Massey, who called the cops, law-abiding citizen, I don't know the details of the case. Get to know the details, okay? Because we smell insincerity, we smell sincerity. And I'm promoting that you're being sincere. So I'm going to need you to be sincere, President Trump. We need to get you in office, and we need you as a president for all people. That's what MC Harris is out here saying. So let's just take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the Olympics. Have you been watching the Olympics? It's been wonderful to see USA. Congratulations to all the other winners across the board. We're going to talk about some of the stuff. What's your favorite sport? I mean, I actually got to see all kinds of stuff, you know, horse jumping, and, you know, I seen Snoop Dogg, who is, I don't think he plays any sports. I mean, he probably got the Olympics in his backyard by now, but I think Snoop by far had the most fun. So when we come back with the New American Perspective, we're going to talk more about where we're at, where we're going, and what we're doing. This is your host, Jania Butler, and we'll be right back. And we are back. I was looking up where we are in our battleground states so we could look at this. So what we're looking at, and see now, these are tough states now. Look, and so we looked at why, you know, Vice President Harris had chose Tim Walz. Okay, so our battleground states right now are Nevada, okay? Vegas is popping right now. So I would go red, Vegas, if I was you, because y'all are going to bring more money to the space. And I think I'm going to be moving out there, maybe looking at a Congress run out there. What y'all think? I love Vegas, okay? Arizona. Clovis Campbell, Arizona informant. We come to see you. What is the forecast? We need you on the show. We need to know what's happening in Arizona. What's the feel? Because I know that Arizona once had a Republican governor. Okay, I'm not sure what they're doing right now, but I think it's a Democratic governor in Arizona. Then we have Miss Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Okay, we had our friend out in Milwaukee when we were at the RNC. We had him come on and he told us what the climate was. So they cleaned up the streets and made it look good for the citizens that were coming in for the conference, and so somebody had got killed. I still didn't hear that on a larger scale, which is crazy, right? Because it was a homeless person. So do we devalue life in different ways, right? So then Michigan, okay? So Michigan, what we talking about? Detroit. Now, my homegirl Carolyn had said that she had went to Michigan, Detroit, last week, and she said, yo, Detroit is popping. Detroit is nice and clean, and Detroit is, what? Wasn't Detroit, Michigan, the state with the water, people, the water? Who was in charge of the water? Remember, the water was all poisoned, and the people, what happened to those people? Everybody was sending the waters. Is the system back together? I can bet your bottom dollar it's not. And I bet you the people are rah, Kamala Harris, and not even saying, oh, we ain't doing nothing until we get this water situated. That's how this goes, people. Okay? We have to take another stance. We can't be entertaining and doing all this stuff and not focus on what is in front of us. Our kids are our future. So if you're not worried about the America that your kids are going to be living in, then guess what? We're going to have to expel you. And that's what's happening, people. They're saying migrants come in because these fools over here do not get it yet. So come on in, migrants, take all these jobs, and they're going to have to figure out where they're going to go, because we need hard-working American citizens, not somebody that's going to stay disconnected even when I give them money, go over here, spend the money over there, and don't do nothing to move the needle forward. Well, what I'm saying is, instead of kicking you out of America, people, I'm saying everybody off the bench. I'm saying that I have been in and through America, and I've seen the beautiful talent that we have here in America, and it is suppressed. It is underutilized. It is not where it should be. And so instead of worried about how to motivate these people, because we can do it, these people want it, okay? That's what I'm saying, is that instead of giving them an opportunity to continue what they're doing, let's give them an opportunity to step up. And that's what we're saying over here in the red Trump MAGA USA. Come on, let's do something different. We all know that we got to do something different. So Pennsylvania, again, battleground state, which is interesting that she didn't take Josh, because it would have probably delivered her the state. Now she's going to use Tim Walz to go into that state, and Georgia. So right now, these are the 6 states that are going to determine an election, and that's going to be a few 100,000 people. Now, people, a lot of people don't vote no matter what. You got the never voters, right? I'm not voting for the system, I'm not doing this. And then let's not forget, so we got Vice President Harris, we got President Trump, okay? Then you have these independent candidates. Kennedy is still running, okay? I'm not sure if, I think Cornell West is out. Anne Marie, what was her name? Maria, I think she's out, but these people when you have an independent candidate in there, or when people write in candidates, when you hear them say, I'm gonna write in somebody because I don't like these candidates. Now, that system would work if enough people would do it. But there are not enough people that are going to vote on the Republican and the Democrat because they have the money. And remember, this is an absolute money game, okay? Complete money game, where, okay, there's about $1 billion in play in super PACs right now, okay? So that means that any politician getting on your stream should be contributing to the marketing that they're trying to do. Now, what they want to do is how much, at the end of the day, you want to say, how much did I spend on this per vote, okay? So say, for instance, I do an ad. You do an ad on Millennium News 24, right, on the New American Perspective show. Okay, so you do an ad to do outreach to reach some of my viewers. Now, that person or maybe 1,000 people say, I like him, I like her, whatever. So now how much did I spend per vote to get the number of votes I got? So they want to spend $10, they want to spend $5, they like to spend $2 per vote. Now if they can get free advertising and they can get all that stuff, that plays a big part in the situation as well. You understand? So all of this plays the big picture, right? So, but the people ultimately, right, you got to have your volunteers. So we need all hands on deck for the Republican Party, because I know the machine that they got over there. And they got a machine. They know how to organize. These are the ones that put together the protests, and shout out to you for the work that you do, because you do good work. But your work can't be so good that we miss what we're working for. We are working for policy that trickles down to the American people. Not just you, not just your job, not just the bag that you're going to get, but that the people are going to get as well, right? A long time ago, they said that Walsh, he's focused on the middle class. As I grew up, they always talked about that they were going to erase the middle class, and that the middle class will be gone. And I think the middle class is gone. I think either you're rich or you're poor right now. Now they're doing the Jedi mind trick again. Oh no, we're focusing on the middle class. I don't know about that. What's middle about this class? Okay, because if I can't afford groceries, if I can't afford gas to fill up my tank, a gas, and feel good about it, if I can't afford those things, these are the things that now they're asking us, the Dems are asking us, bear with us, because we are going to make changes that you don't believe. Now, see, they want to go down into the history books. They want to go down in the history books, or we changed this. We went from gas cars to electric. We want this. But see, that's all going to hurt us, because they want the electric cars gone by, I think, 2035. So that's 10 years. You get 10 years on a car, right? And some people longer than that. So now what they're saying is that by 2035, no more gas cars. So everybody that has a gas car right now, no matter what they're saying is no more. So you can't have, your hoopty in the, it's gas. They're going to arrest you for driving on the road for a gas car. People, are we ready for that? Did the money come up? Listen, all I'm saying is we have an opportunity to leapfrog from where we are today to a better situation. Now, I am not focused on the hype. I am not focused on all the rhetoric that's going on. What I'm focused on is what my community needs. And that will not change after this period of time, okay? That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing in the process, is what my community needs, okay? So now, what do we need? Okay, let's talk about policy. Let's talk about Project 2025, because every time now they got it, and again, Jedi mind trick. Project 2025 is a manifest from the Heritage Foundation. It's something that the Democrats have tacked on to President Trump and said, oh well, this is what he's doing. Now he's completely denounced it, right? But oh no, they can't believe it. Just like at the NBA and the National Association of Black Journalists, they said, oh no, Trump got to be fact checked all the way. They said, listen, Trump got to be fact checked and everything. Uh, I have a guest coming in. They're calling me. I have a guest calling in from Chicago, but let me pull up just Project 2025 real quick. What is Project 2025? Let me just read a little bit because they asked. Okay, now they got President Trump on top of this, and now this is from like an off-site. What is Project 2025? Project 2025 is a comprehensive plan led by the Heritage Foundation and former Trump administration officials and allies from the MAGA movement. Okay, so that's just something that somebody put, These are all people from the Trump movement. It seeks to consolidate executive power and deploy a network of loyal personnel for the next administration. Okay, I don't know if there's anything wrong with that. When enacted, this unprecedented plan will fundamentally undermine basic government resources and programs currently supporting veterans, women's health, environment, justice and voting, economy, education, and other areas of concern to American families. So basically, they're saying this thing is going to gut the inside of America out and take off the women's health. We know that the women's reproductive rights. I am definitely for women making their own choices. I'm a woman who have made my own choices throughout my life. I do not want anybody to take that away from anybody. But I also don't want us running around pedal pushing and holding up the sign saying we have a right to kill our babies. We have a right to save our babies too. And we have a right to show our children and our young people how not to have children. Now, I'm not for the whole rape thing and, incest, because that stuff happens. And I don't want to force anybody to have a child, and, it's horrible. But I just want us to think about when we push that mantle that we are, for the rights of women. I am for the rights of women, but I'm also for us thinking about we have to reproduce. And in order to stay in a good position, remember, it's survival of the fittest. We've got to survive out here. We've got to survive, people. So now, let me go to the Heritage Foundation and what their front page says, okay? The Heritage Foundation says the truth about Project 2025. The left, now listen to the difference of what I just read. The left has spent millions fear-mongering about Project 2025 because they're terrified of losing power. Check. I agree. And they should be. Project 2025 offers a menu of solutions to the border crisis. Problem. Inflation. Problem. A stagnant economy. Problem. And a rampant crime. Problem. Okay. It shows how we can take on China. Problem. Okay, now fix our schools. Problem. And support families. Issue. Okay. But most importantly, it dismantles the unaccountable deep state, taking power away from leftist elites and giving it back to the American people and duly elected president. I like this, people, and I thought that I liked this. I think that a lot of the stuff is harsh that we're looking at. Oh, we want to dismantle Social Security. Well, we know, there's a lot of people on Social Security disability that don't need to be on it, and we're paying for this. So we're talking about all the things that we're paying for people. Now, our community may be on some of this, so they may be like, oh, whoa, don't be talking about taking nothing away because I'm good. Off the bench. I'm going to need you off the bench. Okay, so let me go on because this is interesting. Project 2025 is a historic movement brought together by over 100 respected organizations from across the conservative movement. So again, what they're talking about is conservative. So, to abolish the deep state and return government to the people. It was stood up in 2022 before any major candidate announced a campaign. So why didn't they go with this in 2022, people? Why weren't they scaring you then? The next conservative president to assist. Project 2025 is not partisan, nor is it secret. Project 2025 does not speak for any candidate or campaign. Now that's clear, right? So you're throwing this on top of President Trump and saying, oh my God, Project 2025, what are they doing? In any capacity, right? In any capacity. We are open book with our materials as I am reading it now. Okay. Project 2025's policy book is nothing new. And see, again, this has been there, people. And this is what I'm saying. They're using this. Oh my God. Think about Project 2025. They're trying to take all our things away from us. Well, lesson here, people. We need to let some of these things go and get with our talent in America and start making a new way. Start making a new economy. Start looking at how we're spending our money and spend our money more wisely. Spend our money with each other. Spend our money so we can make billionaires ourselves. So we've got to focus on a lot of things. And I'm not saying that this Project 2025 sounds good. How does it sound to you? Sounds decent to me so far. Now, we'll go over to some of the problems too. So Project 2025 policy book is nothing new. Mandate for Leadership has been published regularly. Now listen to this. Mandate for Leadership has been published regularly since the 1980s. But 2025, we should be worried. We should be really worried. But it's been published since the 1980s. You see the Jedi mind trick? In it, respected conservative authors espouse conservative policy ideas for incoming administration to consider. As anybody, as we should have our bullet points ready to go for this is what we want. And see, this is where we go wrong. So they're saying, oh, beware of Project 2025. They got a plan in place. We don't have no plan. We should have a plan. And we should have a dynamic plan. And that plan should include the hundreds of thought thinkers in this America that we live in. So where are we going with this, people? Okay? And I'm going to spend some more time, again, because I'm shout out to the brothers out in Vegas who said, what is 2025? Can you break it down a little more? As one example, the far left Center for American Progress prepares policy recommendations for liberal presidents, including President Obama in 2008. So why didn't Obama say, get these Heritage Foundation people up off me? What they did was they said, here's our policy points, sir. We'd like you to consider these, like we should be doing. So stop hating on the people at Project 2025 and let's get our new American agenda ready for President Trump, for Vice President Harris, and see what they say about our considerations for what needs to happen next. Stop focusing on what everybody else is doing. Focus on you in that vote. Now, if you're in one of those states, we're going to need you to register to vote. We are going to need you to get out and vote. If you feel anything, you can do absentee ballots, you can do whatever, but we need you to participate, okay? Because we can't miss this by a couple votes and then be up the creek for the next 8 years. Remember, if Vice President Harris gets in now, we got 8 years of this. And she's not talking about how she gonna go from what Biden was doing to low inflation. And she's not a businesswoman, people. She's not a businesswoman. That she's a prosecutor. So she's thinking about all this stuff. Is she gonna prosecute these people that are shooting us? What are we doing, people? We need to tune in. We need to focus. Again, and what I want to leave us with is the adverse of what Project 2025 is on the scary part. Uh, and so President Trump had claimed that he didn't know what was on Project 2025. And yeah, so it's a bunch of things. I was looking for the more adverse piece for the black people is um and the minorities of what we should worry about with them, because they keep telling us keep your subsidies in place, keep everybody on, and keep this going. Okay, hold on, let's see if this one, here it goes now. Look, the 19th explains what you need to know about Project 2025. I got 1 minute to go. A 920 page policy blueprint contains the Heritage Foundation vision for a second Trump administration. See how the difference? They're for conservative candidates. With impacts on women, LGBTQ rights, families, education, and the workforce. Project 2025, you might be hearing about it. Vice President Kamala Harris brought it up Tuesday during her first campaign event. Let me see. The blueprint suggests transforming the FBI into a politically motivated entity, abolishing the Department of Education, and dismantling the new Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, which, among other things, other duties, tracks hurricanes because it's part of the colossal operation that has become one of the main drivers of the climate change alarm history. It would bar U.S. citizens from receiving federal housing aid. Remember, I'm telling you, they're saying, oh no, they're trying to take your concessions away, but we want more. Receiving federal housing aid if they live with anyone who is not a citizen or permanent legal resident. See, all this is fingermailing. Trump has tried to distance himself. At least 140 people who work for Trump administration contribute to the project. Okay, so they all got together. They're allowed to do this, people. The blueprint encourages the next presidential administration to disband the Gender Policy Council created by Democratic President Joe Biden and undo all of its work. Heritage Celeste eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across the federal government. The authors also want to take the following terms out of every rule and regulation: sexual orientation and gender identity and all that stuff. Here are the elements of projects. So they looking at LGBT rights, taking away your federal aid, your money, fixing the education system that's not working for us, the reproductive rights. So they have recommendations for that, and there's nothing wrong with that, people, and we shouldn't be fear. We should be recommending what we want in America. I am a citizen of the United States. This is Jania Butler. This is the New American Perspective, and that is our show for today. See you next week.
So what does she intend to do now? Where does she intend to go? The reports that she
Names are Artem Viktorovich Dulcev and Anna Valerevna Dulceva. Putin greeted them warmly on the tarmac, offering flowers and hugs. He said Buenas noches to their children who had believed they were Argentinian and only learned they were Russian on the plane to Moscow. They were shocked to meet Putin, not knowing who he was. The Dulcevs, arrested in Slovenia for espionage, were swapped with other Russian prisoners for Americans, including journalist Ivan Gershkovich and Paul Whelan. Putin's actions emphasize his dedication to bringing back Russian agents, showing his commitment to his intelligence agencies. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov highlighted the sacrifices these spies make for Russia. The event, widely publicized, is intended to boost morale among Russian intelligence officers and reinforce Putin's image as a protector of his people. This act demonstrates Russia's loyalty to its agents and reinforces the importance of their work. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for OLED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV,